Welcome to Midweek Manna. Real quickly, I want to make a very good announcement for the church. On October the 23rd from 4 to 6, we're going to be having a fall festival. So bring your children and stay with them and enjoy the afternoon. There'll be hay rides, games for the kids. There'll be food. So we invite you to come and be with us on that very special day. We've been looking for the last couple of weeks about the fruits of the Spirit. Galatians 5 verses 22 and 23. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. The second fruit or harvest of the Spirit is joy. Not so much the joy of doing, but the joy of being. This joy is not the human or natural joy that one receives from the abundance of the things that they possess. It is not the happiness gained from pleasant experiences. It is the joy of sins forgiven. One individual will say that like this: the bliss the blood-washed know, the peace akin to heaven, where the healing waters flow. My good friend, the late Dr. Benny Triplett, said this about joy: the Bible is a book of joy. Christ is the source of joy. The Christian is a temple of joy. And the church is a place of joy. When I graduated from high school, one of my mom's brothers gave me a graduation card, and at the bottom of it, it said the way to have real joy. And it used the word joy as an acrostic. And it simply said, Jesus, others, you. That is the perspective of it all. The Bible teaches us about the joy of salvation. Psalm 51, beginning at verse number 1, the psalmist writes, "Have mercy upon me, O God, according to thy loving kindness. According unto the multitude of thy tender mercies, blot out my transgressions. Wash me thoroughly from mine iniquity, and cleanse me from my sin. Restore unto me the joy of thy salvation, and uphold me with thy free spirit." As David wrote this psalm, it is very evident that David was writing this with a very burdened heart. He had lost the joy of his salvation, and he desired to have it again. There is a real joy in knowing Christ. What's on the inside will show up on the outside of us when Christ lives within our hearts. A young girl who was working with the Salvation Army was at a rally one time, and she was walking back through the crowd talking to people. And she come across a man who had a real sad countenance on his face. And all of a sudden the young girl looked at him and said, "Sir, are you a Christian?" And the man said, "Yes, ma'am, honey, I'm a Christian." And the little girl screamed for all to hear, "Hey, everybody, look at this man, sad and melancholy. Somebody forgot to tell his face that he was saved." Real joy will show the world that there's someone living on the inside of us. You see, you and I can have the joy of salvation. If you've lost that joy, then it can be recovered. And if you've never experienced that joy, you can receive it. All you got to do is ask Christ to come into your heart, come into your life, and he'll fill you with that joy called salvation.